Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 18, entitled as Conclusion, The Perfection of Renunciation. Text number 36 onwards. So, as we have been discussing, looking around us, the reality is that most people are deeply engrossed within this material world. Krishna pins this down to the modes of material nature that we have discussed in detail many times. These three modes entangle each person according to their individual mentality. Krishna explains how the modes influence our knowledge, our actions, our understanding, our determination, and ultimately our sense of happiness as well. Depending on which mode is controlling us, we find happiness in a particular type of activity. So we begin from text number 36, where Krishna starts explaining the three types of happiness. And this is the last chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, and then after this, Krishna will now start summarizing his teachings and then speak the essence, the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita. Text number 36. Sukham tva idanim trividham shinu me bharatarashabha abhyasad ramate yatra dukkhantam chanigacchati. O best of the Bharatas, now please hear from me about the three kinds of happiness by which the conditioned soul enjoys, and by which he sometimes comes to the end of all distress. What are these? Text 37. Yattad agre visham miva pariname amritopamam tat sukham satvikam proktam atma buddhi prasadajam. Everyone in this world is looking for happiness, and different people are trying to find happiness in different ways, and everyone thinks just because it makes you happy is the best thing to do. But we must understand the kind of happiness we enjoy, or the kind of activities in which we try and find happiness, may entangle us forever or may liberate us forever also. It could lead to further bondage, frustration, and suffering as well. Therefore, we need the guidance of a guru who can teach us on the basis of scriptures, who can tell us at our face that the kind of activity you are engaging in, you think it is making you happy, it is the best thing to do. Even the animals think like that. But from the scriptures, we understand what is superior kind of happiness. The best happiness is, the best activity is, that will give us everlasting, permanent happiness. But most of the people in this world are simply concerned about immediate happiness. They don't think about the long-term benefits, rewards, or suffering. And that is the major cause of degradation, distress, restlessness in this world. People are looking for happiness but in the wrong things. They are trying to find happiness, which is their goal, which is their right, but in a different way, but in a wrong way. So what is the highest kind of happiness? He says, that which in the beginning may be just like poison, but at the end is just like nectar, and which awakens one to self-realization, God-realization, is said to be happiness in the mode of goodness. So people who are in the mode of goodness find happiness in these activities, which will help them in God realization, realizing the purpose of human life. And this one verse changed my life as well. When I started following the process and waking up early, I remember the very first day I woke up, it was so painful because in college we are not so used to getting up so early, we sleep late. And that day I decided I'm just stuck here, I shouldn't continue, this is very miserable. And I decided to call up my parents and tell them I'm not going to continue this. I don't know what I got myself into, so I'm going to leave it. I was about to pick up a phone, or during those days we had those phones where you just insert a coin and then the call connects. And just before I put that inserted that coin inside that phone, instantly this verse which I'd heard from devotee popped up in my mind as if somebody just speaking to me. And whatever is poison in the beginning becomes nectar in the end, and in this world whatever tastes like nectar in the beginning becomes poison in the end. So I thought to myself, maybe this is uh, feeling like poison in the beginning, maybe it will become nectar in the end. And then I just stopped. So that, so this one verse of the Bhagavad Gita just changed my entire life. So we can imagine even few words of the Gita are enough to cause that transformation. So spiritual life in Kali Yuga especially may sound very boring, may feel very boring, may taste very dry, tasteless, uh, no interest at all, not very interesting. However, and sometimes it may taste like poison. Kahan phas gaye? What have I got myself into? But the nature of this world is whatever tastes difficult or like poison in the beginning will eventually turn into nectar. And the sense gratification, just trying to live the life the way we want, just enjoying, eat, drink, and be merry, it tastes like nectar in the beginning. But when the reactions to all our actions start manifesting, the same spirit of happiness which we want to experience through material activities, which tastes like nectar in the beginning, will become the real poison in the end, in the long run. So we have to be very careful um, and engage in activities which will bring us long-term happiness, and that is activities related to self-realization, God realization. And now, what is happiness in the mode of passion? Text 38. Vishayendriya samyogad yattadagre amritopamam pariname vishammiva tat sukham rajasam smritam. That happiness which is derived from contact of the senses with their objects, and which appears like nectar at first but poison at the end, is said to be in the nature of passion. The same activity which I was explaining, most of the people are only concerned with gratifying their senses, and to do that they can go to any extent. People are even indulging in the most sinful activities because they don't know what the future holds. They don't even want to think about that. They don't really care. They just believe in the philosophy. Just do it. If it makes you happy, just do it. Animals do this. Therefore this kind of philosophy is totally animalistic, and then we get degraded to those kinds of species only, because the kind of consciousness we cultivate will decide our future destination, our future body as well. And as human beings, we are supposed to think like that. We are supposed to care about our future, and that is what human life is all about. We have to invest in things which will give us permanent benefits. This life is not the only life, it's a multi-innings game. Depending on what we do, what we think, the kind of consciousness we cultivate, we will get next body, next family, community, setup, facilities, no facilities. So we better act like human beings, and human beings are supposed to act for God realization, self-realization. Yes, we have senses, we need to gratify them, but in a right way we should try and gratify. Happiness simply doesn't depend on engaging in sinful activities, eat, drink, and be merry, and doing what we like. This is happiness in the mode of passion. But there is superior kind of happiness which comes from connecting with our spiritual self, connecting with the storehouse of happiness, that is Krishna, that is the Supreme Lord, engaging in activities which are related to Him. Since happiness is the goal, so we must engage in activities which will not give us any reaction, which will not degrade us, but will uplift our consciousness. That is intelligence. And what is the lowest kind of happiness? Yadagre chanubandhe cha sukham mohanam atmanah nidralasya pramadhottam tattamasam udahritam. And that happiness which is blind to self-realization, which is delusion from the beginning to end, and which arises from sleep, laziness, and delusion, is said to be of the nature of ignorance. These are the people who are dull-headed, and they take pleasure in being lazy, and they're totally under illusion. They don't know what is right, what is wrong. They're just totally ignorant. of the goal of life, or anything for that matter. They are not even aware how to, they are not even making an effort to gratify their senses. Just like the ones in the mode of passion, they are working, they are doing something, but these are the people who derive happiness from being just lazy and sleep and totally living in darkness, totally ignorant, totally under illusion. They have no higher goal, no purpose, and they're just living life, just like the lower species of life. And they might just try and work a little, or they're just expecting to get things uh, very easily without making an effort, being lazy. So people who derive happiness from these kind of activities are the ones who are totally controlled or influenced by the mode of ignorance. So now Krishna says in text number 40, he's been explaining from chapter number 13 to 18, he's explained this concept of three modes. Now in text number 40, he's just summarized everything, whatever he needed to in these 5-6 chapters. Now he's saying there is no being. Natadasti prithvi amba divi deveshu va punah sattvam prakriti jair muktam yadhebhi syat tribhir gunah. There is no being existing either here or among the demigods in the higher planetary systems which is free from these three modes born of material nature. So this whole material creation is controlled by the three gunas. Everything is under their supervision. Even the devatas are not free. Even Lord Brahma is not free from the influence of three gunas. And now, but in this world, whenever we do something, we engage in any kind of activity, as we have discussed the whole, you can say, spread of activities that we indulge in, whether we eat, whether we act, whether we think, the kind of intelligence, charity, everything is under the three gunas. So one might think then, okay, everything that I do, there is some reaction, there is some bondage, so what to do? We can't live without work. So therefore Krishna has created the Varnashrama system. We have discussed that in the 4th chapter as well, which is the system of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. Now mind you, again mentioning, it is not caste system, it is Varnashrama system. People have a certain nature because of the past activities. So Krishna divides everyone into 4 categories and then defines their duties, so that if somebody has the Brahmanical inclination, so they are given birth in a Brahman family. Some have like to do business, they are given birth in such families. Some like to serve, they are given birth in the Shudra family. Some are the ones who like to rule, they are given birth in the Kshatriya families, like the family who run the administration. However, in Kali Yuga, everything is topsy-turvy. Somebody who is supposed to serve is ruling, somebody who's not supposed to do business is doing business, somebody who's supposed to do business is serving. So everything is topsy-turvy, everything is gone for a toss. Kali Yuga means everything is just upside down. But for our understanding, we can just try to analyze what Krishna is trying to say. So because everybody is born under 3 gunas and everything that we do falls under 3 gunas, so we will keep getting bound, we will never become liberated. So therefore Krishna has designed this system of Varnashrama, where he divides the society into 4 classes and defines their duties. And if they all act according to their duties, these duties are defined in such a way that if they perform these duties well, they are also based on religious principles, along with getting their desires fulfilled, along with getting that regulated sense gratification, what they are looking for. They will also make spiritual advancement and gradually become purified and come to the level of self-realization. So this is a system which has been designed to give an equal opportunity irrespective of which community, which family you are born in. This is a system of Krishna's extreme mercy. One is born as a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra according to his past karma. But Krishna designed this system that forget about the past. These are your duties. If you do your duties well, all of you will achieve the perfection of human life. All of you can be elevated. So this is Krishna's magnanimity. So Krishna explains now the qualities. Now, as we have explained many times, one does not become a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya or Shudra according to the family he is born in. It depends on the qualities and karma. So Krishna explains the qualities of the Brahmanas, the Nakshatriyas and the Vaishyas, like that. Text 42. Shamodamastapah shaucham. Text 41 we can read first. Brahmana kshatriya visham shudranam cha parantapa karmani prabhibhaktani swabhava prabhaver gunah. Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras are distinguished by the qualities born of their own natures in accordance with the material modes of chastiser of the enemy. Nowhere Krishna says that it is based on birth. Text 42. What are the qualities of the Brahmanas? How can we identify a genuine Brahmana? Shamodamastapah shaucham kshantirarjavam evacha jnanam vijnanamastikyam Brahma karma swabhavajam. Peacefulness, self-control, austerity, purity, tolerance, honesty, knowledge, wisdom, and religiousness. These are the natural qualities by which the Brahmanas work. And Kshatriyas, Sharyam tejo dhritir daksham yuddhe chapi apalayanam danam ishvara bhavascha kshatram karma swabhavajam. Heroism, power, determination, resourcefulness, courage in battle, generosity, and leadership are the natural qualities of work for the Kshatriyas. And people who have these qualities, we can understand, although the divisions might have vanished, but we can still find people who have these qualities, and just by understanding the qualities we can understand whether somebody is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, no matter which family they are born in. And text 44, the Vaishyas and the Shudras, what are their duties defined by Krishna? Krishi gorakshya vanijyam Vaishya karma swabhavajam Paricharyatmakam karma Shudrasyapi swabhavajam. Farming, cow protection, and business are the natural work for the Vaishyas, and for the Shudras there is labor and service to others, and all four types of people we need in society, otherwise the society can't run. And now Krishna says, as I discussed, Sweswe karmani abhiratah samsiddhim labhate narah swakarma niratah siddhim yatha vindati tachshunu. By following his qualities of work, everyone can become perfect. Now please hear from me how this can be done. By following their duties properly, Krishna says, whether one is a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyas, if they do their prescribed duties well, they can all become perfect. Everyone has the equal opportunity. So in the material world, if we try to create equality, it is not possible. There is going to be distinction. But on a spiritual platform, equality is possible, as everyone has an equal chance to perfect his or her life and fulfill the goal of human life, which is self-realization, God realization. Hare Krishna. So now, starting from text number 46, Krishna starts concluding his teachings, and gradually it leads to the ultimate instruction that Krishna will give, which we'll discuss in the subsequent verses. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.